Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to Ashes of the Empire after our rather brutal defeat. So in today's episode, we're going to continue, make a brand new campaign, and perhaps change the honor rule system around just a little bit, based mostly on the suggestions in the comments of the last video, suggestions on Twitter, and a few discussions I've had with other people. So, let's customize and begin the campaign. So to begin with, we're going to have the regular setting, so maximum growth, minimum resource given, and everything else, so at least we can see where we were last time. This is how we set it up last time with localized material. However, with suggestions, this time around we're going to double the resource given by enemy. Still very, very small amount, but it just makes more sense. Since the enemies are dying on the land, it means more scrap would be more easily accessible to us, even if we do nuke them from orbit, but also we get a lot more scrap because we are meant to be scrappers. That's the whole theme of this playthrough, so that makes sense. The other two modifiers will be staying the same, no matter what we do, but the honor rules will be vastly dictated by the enemies. It depends on how many enemies we face. The normal honor rules will apply unless we are facing 3 or more opponents when the random war begins in 1 hour after I begin the campaign. So if we face 3 or more, I will start using frag weapons, I will start using lasers. In other words, I will try and survive, because as we saw, with the enemy growth factor at 2 and having 3 enemies at once, we had unrelenting waves of enemies. Up until a point, we were being attacked with over 200,000 resource in less than 10 minutes. In that time, we gained maybe 15,000. It was a little bit too devastating, so that's how we're going to do it. I am considering upping the resource more, so tell me how you feel about that. The last thing I want is to make it too easy, but at the same time, I like the idea of us being quite orcish scrappers. So, let's just begin the new campaign, and let's discuss how we're going to try and survive this time. Oh, I missed you, Baze. So, to begin with, on our road to actually surviving this time, we're going to be turning this vehicle into a dancing vehicle. No, we're going to be turning it into a resource carrier, so that we can go ahead and get all the resource from the 2 trading stations. How fast can this thing go? With so many wheels, you'd think not that slowly. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That'll be absolutely fine for our needs at the moment, considering resources gathered quite slowly. Doesn't really matter how this thing looks, because if all goes according to plan, we're never going to see it again. We will only see this if things have gone wrong. Okay, 75,000 storage, that is more than enough, which means if we pull all... What are you? You are the... Actually, which one are you? The Dauntless, okay? Dauntless, well, you can go away from the rest of the group, and you can start getting the resource as soon as possible. In fact, let's just make it easier. Take from Landrig, tank from Landrig, give to Watering Hole. There we are. And you want to keep 0 resource, I suppose? You always give maximum? I'm not too sure the best way of doing that. Either way, though, you will steal from these. These should all be on 1. In fact, everything should just be on 1 to make things easier on me. There we are. And then you can just keep on looping over and over again and giving resource to the main base. Keep 0. There we go. And that should still take from here, I think. Now, we could, of course, make something faster than that, and we will in the future. So then, how are we going to defend ourselves? What's the best way? As we learnt before, the stationary turrets don't work all that well. The drones do, but the drones need to be a bit quicker and a bit more dodgy. But for their very minimal cost, they're better than all of my other vehicles. They're better than the tank. People were asking me, why didn't I use the designs which I designed before in the sandbox? All of those designs were built with one enemy faction in mind, only one at a time. Things like the land skimmer and everything, although very good, just don't do that well per resource. If we're constantly being bombarded. Lots of smaller, cheaper craft tend to do better. And the bikes, the explosive bikes, well, they're explosive. They die up on impact. It's just wasted resource, although it is lots of fun. Either way, though, let's scrap everything we've got. I think what we're going to do is spawn in the... There we are. Is spawn in the land skimmer, but this time, as soon as it spawned in, go ahead and make it cheaper. Make it into a proper craft that can dodge enemies and hopefully will just work out a little bit better. Now, you need more of these, don't you? Yes, you certainly do. Until the material is losing number. There we go. Wonderful. Then same with you. And this way, we're getting maximum amount of resources from both of these. This is something else I didn't do until almost the 1 hour mark last time. That's a lot of wasted resource. Yeah, maybe the Dauntless needs to be a bit faster. That is actually slower than I figured. Okay, gotta love it when the land doesn't spawn in correctly. There we go. How to make you faster, easy. How about thrusters? Just for now, just add a couple of really oversized thrusters to your butt, and that should work out just fine. Didn't mean to do that. Oh. Doesn't matter if we take off, just need to get a bit faster, and then pull out, and there we are, 42 meters per second. Basically just doubled the speed for very little cost. Wonderful.
Yes.
And if I'm correct, this land rig is harvesting at exactly the right amount of speed. If we add more, it will go down, so we're basically on neutral anyway. Okay, that's fine. We do need the resource anyway, so let's just do this for now, then we'll destroy these gatherers later. Okay, much better start though. The amount of resource we're going to have this time, in comparison to last time, might be up to double, depending on how badly it was that I was just allowing these two to just do nothing, essentially. Here we go, spawning in a much earlier version of the land skimmer. Or the sand skimmer. Or Bob. Well, this is a much earlier version, it seems. But that will still be absolutely fine. So also, a lot of people were asking me, why didn't I just build the drone in the sandbox mode? And honestly, it's because I've got an hour to wait now. If I'm in regular speed, and that can be really boring even in times 10. So I just figured may as well build something, which was the drone, which we will be using, but we're going to make it a lot cheaper. For instance, it currently still has 2 RTGs when it clearly only needs 1. Lathric, so why did you just remove the front half of the craft? Well, I'm glad you asked, and it's because it was just wasted resource. There was no need for that front half at the moment. All it really had was the AI, which we can fit in the back section here, and that was pretty much it. So we're just going to remove the front and leave it as it is, because originally the front was designed with the idea of having... I'm going to do this. Of having a cannon, but since we're not going to actually do that, well, there's not really all that much point in it. Now, do I want this bit here? Am I going to add a second section? Also, another thing is that what I noticed when I was doing some tests is something like this actually works a bit better than having the full ski section, but it looks way too stupid, even for me. Yeah, this back needs to be changed as well. There's a lot we need to do to this to make it cheaper. So, currently, this is actually cheaper than the drone. I mean, it doesn't have the ammo section yet, but even with that, that's actually surprisingly good. It also has a lot more space for us to put the ammo and other such things, which is very nice. And half the reason why it's so much cheaper is because it's using fuel engines and not using the RTGs. Of course, the problem with that, though, is that the RTGs, although expensive, don't cost anything once you've added them. Unless, of course, you need to repair them, which often happens, but ignoring that, they're actually free. The fuel engines, well, oddly enough, they do require fuel. Let's remove you. I've added a bit more to the front again, even though we have removed a lot before, just because it just looked a bit too weird. Those could totally be eyes. Which isn't weird at all. The Dauntless is now coming back with just over 4,000 materials, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm actually also looking really optimistically at how well this vehicle is going to do, because it's going to pack way more of a punch than the drones, and hopefully take a few more hits. It should also be quite dodgy, although it looks like a cross between a puppy and a bug. I don't know how I feel about this. Getting very close now to a working model. Hopefully very soon we can check if it works properly, and then if it does, honestly, there's a good chance this will outdo the drone massively. Kind of wish that I did this in the first place. I've also decided we will not be going with a wooden armor only campaign because people really did not like the idea of that. And I do try to listen to people's concerns and comments on the series as much as humanly possible. That looks weird. I like weird. Okay, so the ammo's at the front. We have 1,200 of it, which should be enough for both of these missile launchers. The AI will soon be at the back, and we have the engines at the back, which sounds a bit dangerous, but there are several sections to this back section, so it should be the safest place on the craft. We're still only at 5,000. Whoa, 5,000. That was the metal. Oh, so you see, I checked this before I started replacing things with metal, and it was only 3,600, and it's jumped. Oh, that's not great. But saying that, we're almost done. We have the ammo, we have most of the armor sorted, all we need is the AI and a few control blocks. Hello, Dauntless. And then we're done. Also, the Dauntless worked. So there we are. We now have 14,000 resource, so already we can have almost 3 of these, and we're only a few minutes into the game. Another reason why using only missiles is really good is that you don't need a true detection system. A single radar can be enough, because all the craft needs to know is how far the enemy is away on average. And if it can guess that enough, it can simply broadside the enemy and fire its missiles. The missiles have their own guidance system and don't need to be aimed by the vehicle, which is a massive, massive cost saver. Okay, we're going to go with land AI, and we're going to go with... Honestly, neither of these help. Well, target does a little bit. Okay, yeah, target does help a little bit. And I'm just going to focus on whatever is closest to the vehicle. So set all to 0, and range as a minus. Doesn't need to be any high number. So now, the further away it is, the less happy we are to target it, which is good because I want the minimum broadside angle to be something like 400 or 500, which just means it's always getting that minimum from whatever's closest, which is quite a big deal. And then broadside at about 700 odd, if possible, but with a minimum of 500. Then if you go higher than 900 and something, let's say, that should be okay. Depth permitted, that's fine, whatever. Cease, never do that. Okay, that should be functional. Now, this shouldn't be able to turn right now because land AI doesn't particularly like thrusters all that much. Yeah, that's what I wanted to test out. I wanted to test out if we were going to flip or not, really. Yeah, thrusters are way too high. I was hoping that with the rubber at the front like this, it would kind of counter that, but apparently not. That's fine. Also, bear in mind that this version does not yet have the internal rotor blades, which cause it to stick to the ground. I could just add these two to the back here like this, which wouldn't be too bad, and that should be on the center of mass, right? Center of mass, hello. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, good, good, good. Just do that for now. Try to. Oh, you are using the turning thrusters a little bit, okay. Speed is okay-ish, but you're not using these to their full potential because you're going the wrong way. Okay, yep, that's why you need to set up control blocks to control thrusters with a land AI, because sometimes it uses them correctly, and then, most of the time, it just doesn't understand what on earth you're trying to tell it. These make it understand. So, if you want to turn left, your left, let's put you on 7. Which is G, as it should be. That's left, so it'll be these two at the front. G, G, and let's turn them on red for H. And then you two should also be G, G, G. Well, all of you should be G and H. And then have you as the opposite, H, yes. You know. And that should be that. Just making sure. You see, this is normally the stuff I kind of don't particularly show all that much. So you now should be Control 8, which should be H. because A equals 1, B equals 2, etc. And you can be turning right. So that should work now. Yep, there we are, we're turning. And wrong course. Could be a bit quicker. Oh, of course, the rotor blades inside aren't turned on yet. Yeah, these will be controlled by going forwards and backwards, which also needs control blocks. Thankfully, control blocks are very, very cheap. Now, I'm going to remove you anyway for some metal armor to completely encase the AI, and then we'll add 2 more control blocks here, and that should be it. The cost won't go much higher than this now. Note to self, don't knock out the exhaust when you're trying to build armor. There we go. I was wondering why the exhaust was struggling so much in that last little clip. You max fuel. Drain all the fuel from everything around you because I need you to be online. And there we go, our first defender is online, and honestly, I quite like how it looks. Not so much the back, but yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, we're essentially there now, at least in terms of functionality. A little bit of outwards armor on the weapons, though not much, just because of cost again. We've added a bit more armor at the front because the ammos were a little bit exposed, and the AI is now safely tucked away in lots of metal beams. So it will take more than just a single missile to completely turn off the entire craft. Still under 6,000 resource, which does make it 2,000 more than the drone, but it does have a lot more firepower than the drone, and it's a lot more armored than the drone, so hopefully it will be better than the drone. I'm actually tempted to have this connected to the drone, the word drone is now sounding weird, and sort of throw it off at the start of the fight. So tempted. Now where's the Dauntless right now? Dauntless, ah, there you are. That's a lot more resource than I thought. Are we currently maxed out? Hello? No, we're certainly not. Why have you not gave us resource? Oh, it gave resource that time. Clearly it just hadn't gone past recently, which is odd considering it's looping like this.
Yes.
The other good thing with the skimmers is because they're faster than the drones were, it means we can actually quite actively defend an area. It won't be too difficult.
Yes.
Okay, we have 3 of them already. Let's make 1 more, so we have 4 skimmers straight away. So that's 20,000 worth of resources, which is pretty darn good this early on. And then I think I'm going to make 2 drones. The drones weren't perfect, but just having something in the air makes the enemy a lot more confused. What we really need to make, though, is some sort of plane similar to the Seekers. Technically speaking, I think the drone is now functional. Except for we do need to add the detection system, that's the only problem. But ignoring that, yeah, that looks fine. Another thing is we need to make sure it stays further away from the enemy. Swarming over the top will not work for this design. So the minimum range needs to be much higher, like 500, 600. It is firing shells, which are going around about 700 meters per second, so it can do with being far away and still hitting the target. Now let's add a quick detection system and we're all good to go. The drones are now being built, so by the time we're attacked, we should have 4 of the skimmers and 4 of the drones.
Yes.
At least. If we're lucky, we can actually add a couple more, which will be really nice.
Listening.
Yep, drones are now maxed out.
Yes.
So, you know what? I think another drone, just because the drones won't hit each other as much as the skimmers now. Okay, then. Okay, we have the Dustwind Gypsies, we have the Lightning Hoods, and that's it. Okay, Dustwind Gypsies and Lightning Hoods. We have an enemy already coming in from the west. Let's send on over our new Skimmers, which should be going at a very decent speed indeed. Okay, so what just happened there is I forgot to say of the Skimmers when they had a certain speed setting, so they're all classed as 3 meters per second. I can fix that in just a moment, but anyway, we're under more immediate attack from the Lightning Hoods. We have 2 Wisps, and that's it. From the other side, just the Sidewinders and Sand Vipers. Yeah, this is a bigger threat. Now, if I recall, honestly speaking, the Wisps weren't really that much of a huge threat, which is pretty nice for us. Did I put all the drones in the correct places? Yes, I did. Okay, so I'll just wait until it's daytime again, then I'll start the fight. 4 skimmers and 4 drones versus 2 wisps. We should honestly win this pretty easily. If everything's working according to plan. Nothing has been tested yet. Close enough. Oh, I heard water. That wasn't a good start. Certainly a weird start, if nothing else. Well, the drone's already shooting, and let's see if their detection systems were good enough. It is a quite hastily built one, and by the looks of things, yeah, although the enemy are using shields. Because why wouldn't they? Missiles, please! Still, though, advanced cannon instantly shutting off that turret. Beautiful. Seems like all the drones really hate this particular wisp, which is fine by me. Lovely internal damage done there by the missiles. The other wisp is under attack as well. Those 2 skimmers are running away because it's got too close, which they should do. Yep, we need to add a PID system. Yep, we definitely do. That's fine. That should only take like 2 or so minutes to add. It really is quite simple. It still has the thrusters for the PID, so I don't need to add those or set them up. I just need to add them back in. Missiles could do being a bit longer range as well. Okay, we're learning in the field. The turrets did really well. The skimmer's doing okay. They're actually staying out of range of the enemy's main weapons, which is exactly what I wanted. But yeah, need to work on the missiles and the PID, both of which are very, very easy to swap out. Maybe more ammo as well. Lessons learned. Oh, that's why it's spinning in place. We've knocked out its thruster. If we can take out this one's turret, I will count both of these as no longer able to fight, and I will go ahead and capture them. Hit the turret then, lads. At least it's got the sense to come back down every time. Just shoot the turret. Also, next time I can actually let the drones load up before the fight. This time I don't really have the chance. Man, shields are brutal. Well, 2 damage, not as good as I wanted, but that's fine. At least we're getting a little bit extra this time. Oh, no, both of them are 2 damaged. Well... You know what? You know what? I'm happy with that. We only lost a tiny bit of health. The missiles did enough damage, just not enough ammo. We definitely have enough armor to add more ammo, so I'll do that. So what I'll quickly do... Oh yeah, we're about to be under attack. Very slowly. Good. In that case, Skimmer, come here, buddy. A few last-minute changes to you, my bestest to ever friend. Okay, so add more ammo to the front, reattach the PID system so that the front constantly sticks down, and then copy that over to all the designs. Then after that, I mean, they were working as intended. Both vehicles have been updated slightly, so let's see how they do versus the Dustwind Gypsies. I've also ran the Dauntless away, so this area is now completely safe. Hello. Wow, you guys are really split up. That's weird. Hello? Where's the rest of you? There's what... Whoa, how are you so split up? We have a Sand Viper there, a Sidewinder there, then something here, and I'm assuming something here as well. Sure. Bit odd, I admit, but fine. Don't really know why I'm putting some of the skimmers so far back, honestly. Put some of the drones there, put that drone there, put this drone here, and let's just see how that goes, I suppose. Okay, so we have one enemy here, one enemy over there, which looks like it just fired an advanced cannon, and it's hard to see everything else because, well, there's a lot of fog right now. Drones are firing away. They've already done some damage and stopped the enemy. Incoming the missiles from the skimmers, and the first enemy is pretty much down and out. Excellent. Drones are definitely firing better this time as well. The second enemy has been destroyed via the sand skimmers. Let's pause time, because I can't figure out where the enemies are right now. Because it was weird how they spawned in. Apparently still this way. Still this way. Still this way. Oh, I can see shots coming from it. Still this way. We're still going over there. Past this, and there's the enemy. Anyone taking any damage? One of the skimmers has been hurt a little bit, one of the drones has been hurt a little bit as well. Okay, we are now firing at this enemy, although we are missing pretty much every shot, which is to be expected, considering how far away it is, and the fact it's kind of dodging. There we are, 1 hit, 2 hits. 3, 4. See, once they're actually loaded, these things fire pretty quickly. And if you just stand still, thank you. Goodbye. Much better than the missile drones. They also don't ram into each other, which is definitely a plus. Sorry for the terrible cameramanship there, but honestly I couldn't figure out what was going on at all. Well done. Everyone okay? Like a little bit of damage done. I think we actually gained resource in that fight. We definitely gained resource in the Wisp fight after reloading everything, after repairing everything. Are you going backwards? Okay. Well, with those first 2 fights out of the way, even though in the last fight we couldn't really see what was going on, I think it's about time we call the episode. I just did a quick test moving one of these craft around, and definitely we have enough ammo now for the missiles, and definitely we will not be going into space again, at least not all that easily. There you go, 2 full volleys, and we still have a load of ammo left, so we can pretty much just continue to volley missiles the entire fight. So with that, if you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favorites, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. And if you want to add some lore to these new vehicles, the upgraded drone and the skimmers, then feel free to, it's always lovely to read them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.